politically, I think the whole thing's a show. I think it's all a show.
Yeah.
I don't think much has actually changed or much will actually change because there's too much lobbying from powerful people to keep the tax code the same way, to keep the system how it is, because they're doing well, they're profiting off of it. Like why would the actual people in power want things to change? Because they're still in power. So I don't think things are actually going to change. I just think like they have a lot of control over, they meaning like whoever's pulling the strings with like the media. They have a lot of control over the mass population, people who, you know, aren't really just haven't wisened up to the fact that like there was a law, I forget the name, I think it was like Freedom of Information Law or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it basically legislated that news companies are forced to like report directly on like what is truth, and it's very hard to measure, but basically do their best not to speak to a specific demographic. Unfortunately, now most news companies, like, they're just selling ad spots, and so the best way to sell ad spots is to speak to a specific demographic and do what you just said, which is like cause fear, point out an enemy, you know what I mean? And it's just they're on this cycle of like pointing out an enemy, causing fear, pointing out an enemy, causing fear. It's just over. It's ridiculous, dude. It's so stupid,
dude. And it's like this perverse way.
Yeah,
it works because they're perverting the truth.
Yeah,
but they're using that system, an enemy and then the truth, which they're not telling the truth most of the time. But it's like the same is true if we actually pointed out the real enemy and the real truth, it would still work.
Yeah,
it would just actually work. So,
dude,
like
100%,
insane.
It's so silly. Like, like this is I honestly I try not to be a very judgmental person. I really try. But when I like walk into somebody's home and like I see CNN or even Fox News, I don't care. If I see the news on the TV, I'm like, we're not gonna get along. I'm not on a core level. Well, like we can hang out, but like on a core level, man, we don't see the world the same way.
Yeah.
Like to me, that is like everything that gets spewed out of any news. Like there's so few exceptions, dude.
Yeah.
And so this is why I think there's some wisdom to not caring that much.
Yeah.
And just like I'm like this is I think maybe if I were to classify myself, I'd just be a libertarian. Like I'm just here to put a bunch of money in the bank so that if I have to dip, I can.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like it's the only way to do it. When you start to view the world that way, it's like the only way to do it, because how else are you going to have your freedom? Like, you know, a lot of people don't even think voting matters anymore. Most people are like, yeah, voting doesn't even count anymore. Because, like, you know, like, wasn't it like when Biden got elected, like 400,000 votes appeared overnight in, like, what was it?
In the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. It's just like, okay, who's to say that won't happen for a Republican candidate too? You know what I mean? Like, if they can do that, they can do that for whoever they want. You know, so it's just like, yeah. So to me, dude, it like my thinking is America was set up to be states first, fed as the last thing. But the human psyche, man, is just like so addicted to having a ruler. Almost it seems like we need like a person, a single person. So somehow the president became that. They're not supposed to be that. They're supposed to be in charge of the military, and they're supposed to pass bills. That's it. They're supposed to be in charge of the military and pass bills. But for some reason, the human psyche, we need a leader. We need a single figure, which is supposed to be like, again, like, you know, the governors of your state. Like Indiana, where I live, has a governor. We all have governors, and the governor kind of leads. And the Fed just kind of stays out of the way and just like basically they just stay out of the way. That's how it was designed. But the people were swayed over decades of like, you know, how we're running the news and whatever, like to love our leader as if they're important when they're really not that important. They don't really represent our country. Like the states represent the country, the governors of the states. That's why we have states.
Yeah.
They were designed to be their own micro countries so that we can have a competitive system where we see whose legislation and whose social structure and economic structure outperforms the others, and we can all learn from one another in one union. That was the United States. We're all states. But now it's not that. Now the United States is like its own state. And that's not how it's supposed to be. So that's where we went wrong. You know what I mean? Like way before any of this. And way before even like we lost the gold standard on fiat. You know what I mean? We lost what states meant. So like we from the get, like we started losing track of how it was designed. And I'm starting to sound like super patriotic because I am. Like I love my country. I just hate what it's doing right now. You know what I mean? I think it's like stupid. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to mentor directly underneath me and learn all the strategies that we've implemented to our students' businesses to help over 100 people reach 6 figures a year, 100 to $999,000 a year, and over, I think it's 15 students as of January 2023 to $1 million a year or more, then I want you to go ahead and schedule your completely free consultation with us. There's no pressure to make a decision. We're not going to force your hand. We're just trying to figure out what it is that you need in order to take that next step to either start your online consulting or coaching business in any niche, any industry, or take your existing consulting or coaching business and really scale it to that next level in order to really sustain a business, put a lot of money in the bank very quickly, and serve a lot of people. Okay, so you can use the pinned comment on this video, or if you're listening on our podcast, go to treycockrum.com/schedule-page, and you can check out that page. It's just a simple schedule page. If you fill out a form and we want to know a bit about you, a bit about where you're coming from and what's motivating you to even speak with us so that we can make sure we give you the best options. And if we notice that you're honestly not in the best place to get started, whether that's financially or time constraints or otherwise, we'll make some other suggestions to you, okay? Our reputation is everything to us, so we're only going to really make offers to people we know for a fact that we can help. And even if we don't make you an offer, it will still be some of the best 45 to 60 minutes you've spent on your business this year, because you're going to get a custom strategy and be told exactly what you should do next. Okay, so book your free consultation using the link in the description or in the pinned comment, or if you're listening on our podcast, treycockrum.com/schedule-page. See you there.